to talk about another super cool solution, obviously. Proudly presenting smart buildings. And I'm going to do that by using our customer Intel. And Intel for us is not only our customer, they are our partners. We have been working with them as an innovation partner and as a member of their ecosystem for quite some time. And we are a part of their Ignition Lab over here in Stockholm. But what we have done, because they had some challenges. You know, they have an activity-based offices like many of us have. How many of you are sitting in an activity-based office, open spaces? Almost half of you are doing it. And I would assume that more and more of you will actually enter the world of activity-based offices in the very near future. That have some demands, actually, in order for it to be very efficient. Another one is really about having the service levels right, because being an employee at Intel, I want to get things done. I don't want to be troubled by things standing in my way of actually getting my things done. So how can IoT help you to actually get your things done? And then also it's about cost optimization. It's about efficiency, cutting costs, making sure that you are very optimized in the way you're running your business. And last but not least, we only have one Mother Earth, and we need to protect her and preserve her and make sure that she's available for generations and generations. And sustainability is a really, really important matter to Intel. So what did we do? Well, we implemented an IoT solution. And when you're going to implement an IoT solution, I think there are a couple of things that you need to pay attention to. Open standards, making sure that whatever you're building it on is not a proprietary solution that will not communicate with anything else but itself. I see too many IoT solutions, very much proprietary, and I think there are so many IT departments that will get gray hair in the very near future because they have a proprietary solution for their escalators, they have a proprietary solution for the soap dispenser, they have a proprietary solution for whatever solution they have. And all of a sudden, it's going to be a nightmare to administrate this. So based on open standards, really, really vital. And then also making sure that the installation is super duper easy. Because when you're installing sensors, it's about scale. You have maybe a small pilot that is around 100 sensors. It's very easy to install 100 sensors. Even with the most highly skilled installers, it's quite cheap. But you're going to install thousands and thousands and thousands of sensors. You can't have experienced installers going around and install 1,000 sensors. It's going to cost a fortune. And once they're installed, you need to make sure it lasts. You just should drop them and don't think about wherever you have the sensors. So they need to have a long lifetime. We see a lot of energy harvesting solutions out there, but they're still not really smart enough. You can't do the encryption that you would like to have, and you can't do over there upgradables. So we need some batteries still for a few years more, I would say, for the high-end sensors. Over time, we will skip the batteries, something we are all looking for, I would say, except for maybe the battery vendors. And then finally, enterprise security, making sure that everything is encrypted all the way down to the sensors, making sure that you can do everything remotely with remote revoke and those type of things. So that's what we're bringing into this solution with Intel. And we have been started with a pilot. So we did that start in December, and we finalized it and are now going into production environment. During last month, actually, we were taking it from pilot to actually having it as a running service in the Swedish Intel office. 145 sensors in this office. And the interesting thing is that every sensor takes not more than 5 minutes to install. And from the minute, sort of the second you're turning on the on button until it's actually populating data. And the most challenging part in installing the sensors is removing the adhesive tape. That's the tricky part in the sensor installation. Once you're done with the adhesive tape, boom, everything is nice and neat. So we're actually looking into a better solution for the adhesive tape, because that is sometimes challenging now. You have to scratch it. And what we're doing here is bringing a horizontal platform, because you want to understand more about your building than just how you utilize the space. So what we have installed and what we're using at the Intel office is around space utilization. How do I utilize, the work desk? Because everybody understands, most at least. I just heard from a very large customer in Kista, not our customer, but a very large company in Kista, said, it's a total nightmare to find. We have over-optimized our office. If you're not in the office by 8 o'clock, you won't get a seat. So that is sort of, I'm not sure how well it's restaurants for everybody, the charter tourists are throwing out their towels, 3:40 in the morning, just in order to get a seat. You don't want to end up there. So utilizing the work desk is really important. Utilizing conference rooms. Everybody of you that are working in a large organization, it's a nightmare to find a free conference room. And here what you can do, you put sensors under the table so you know how many people are actually in this conference room. So it's occupied, but 2 people are sitting in a conference room made for 12. And with the data you get from the sensors, you can actually cut a couple of conference rooms in half. You can also make sure that the conference room system, so the booking system, is connected to the sensors. So if there's no movement 15 minutes after a meeting has started, release the booking or wake up the dead people in the room. Bathrooms, that's the most expensive thing when it comes to facility management companies, doing the roundings. And today you do the roundings based on what time it is. It's 9 o'clock, I need to go floor number 5. It's 11 o'clock, I need to go to floor number 3. You don't do it because you need to clean the toilets. You do it because the clock is 9 o'clock. That's not very smart. With sensors, you do it when it's needed and not based on what time it is. And you can do automated work orders in this service list. You can understand what the appliances, how they are used, and you can make sure that rooms where you don't want people in the server room. Through the sensors, you can understand, are there people where there should not be? And then finally, climate. Everybody's complaining. It's too warm, it's too cold, it's too noisy, it's too dark. With this, you can have fact-based input, and you can also adjust it. And I would say one of the key drivers right now is not only about temperature, it's CO2. CO2 levels, that will be the next big thing. This is where you heard it first. And what we can see here now is actually how we're using the conference rooms, how we're using the work desk. And as you can see from the graph first above, it's very low utilization of the work desks. So you could first say, let's leave it back to the landlord, or let's do something else with this, let's make coffee tables or something. But actually, Intel has acquired a company, so they need the space, and now the office manager can feel comfortable that even though we are pushing, increasing the density of people working here, we're fine, because we have enough work desks every time of the day for actually fitting our new colleagues into this room. Secondly, we can see how the temperature is reacting in a conference room. So the light blue, there you see the light blue things. That's when the conference room is occupied. And then you can see how the temperature is increasing. And maybe you want to speak to the landlord about this and say, I think we need more efficient ventilation. And maybe what we're looking at is actually how can we connect the sensors to the BMS system, so to the building management system, to make it much more agile and make sure that the climate is much better. And finally, how do we utilize our conference rooms? So we have now a much better end-use productivity. We can sustain and preserve both costs as well as environment. And if we look in the future, what we're going to do here, we're going to scale this and replicate it to other sites across the globe. Very much exciting. Magnus always talking about small Swedish companies going globally, and this is definitely one of the customers that we can go globally with and scaling as a small Swedish company, because we are born global, as most of the companies presenting here. And we're also going to add more functionality, more apps, more mobile apps, more BI apps in order to increase the ROI of this. And integrate it with legacy systems, because you have some dinosaur systems that are really old and not very nice, but you have paid a fortune to them. Make them expand their lifetime by actually connecting the new world with the old world. And finally, we're going to add more use cases, because it's just imagination that stops what you can actually do with Internet of Things. That's it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Eva. Thank you so much.